Hello, it's Jen Bengal here from Out of This World Literacy. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do you set up your daily writing workshop routine? The answer is, I stay consistent with 5 main parts to help students anticipate the learning and ensure I cover everything I need in the time that I have. Some teachers have 60 minutes for their writing block, others have 45, still some have just 30 minutes. Over the next few days, I'm going to share some sample schedules of how I would set up a daily writing schedule. Each day we'll take a look at how the schedule may change depending on if the block is 60 minutes, 45, or 30. The ideal schedule will have a 60-minute writing block, but we can work with others. Today, let's look at that ideal schedule for a 60-minute writing block. The first step, remember I said I have 5 steps to my 60-minute block? The first step is called an author's talk. This is about 2 minutes long. This is when I bring in some idea from an author to help us as young writers. It might be a YouTube video, it might be something that I read in an article, or something from an author's webpage. It's about 2 minutes, and it usually follows something that we're working on in our writing workshop. So if we're working on revising, it's usually a revising tip from an author. The second thing we do is a writing workshop whole group lesson. This is about 10 to 12 minutes, and I like to stay underneath that 12-minute mark. During this writing workshop whole group lesson is when I share my writing samples, talk about a specific strategy we're working on as writers, get the students to think about what they're going to do during their independent time. And before I finish the mini lesson, I go into step 3, which is called the status of the class. Before I send kids off to start writing on their own, I ask them individually to tell me what they're going to do today in writing. So I'll call their name, they'll tell me for about 10 or 15 seconds what they're going to be doing, I'll write down what they're doing, and this gives me a heads up to the kids who are going to go back to their desks and have nothing to do as writers. I'm going to go conference with them right away. So this takes about 4 or 5 minutes to do that status of the class. It's super important for writing because, again, it gives me a heads up for who's going to be struggling as a writer today, and I can go see. And then during their independent writing time, I'll be either seeing kids one-on-one during a writing conference, I might do a small guided writing group, or the kids might be working on some writing components in a center activity or spending time writing. That's about 35 minutes. My whole group share then is at the end. That is a 10-minute share where everyone comes back together and shares what they did in writing that day. So I have an author's talk for 2 minutes, the writing workshop lesson for 10 to 12. I take my status of the class for about 4 or 5 minutes before I send them off writing. Then they write independently for about 30, 35 minutes. And again, I'll need to build that stamina. I can't have them writing that long at the beginning of the year. And then we'll do a whole group share at the end for 10 minutes. And that's my typical schedule for writing workshop for an hour. I hope this chat helps you think about how you plan to set up your daily writing schedule. In episode 85, I'll be sharing how the schedule can be modified for a 45-minute block. It's been my pleasure chatting with you today. Know that I'm the biggest fan of the work that you and your students are doing in the classroom. If you'd like more teaching tips, you can check out outofthisworldliteracy.com. If you'd like to attend some free live webinar trainings on literacy instruction, visit jenbengalwebinars.com. Until next time, you've got this.